You can start filming whenever.
Yep.
Am I live?
You're live.
Awesome. Okay, we're back, guys. This is the unstyled cooking show that I am doing in my parents' home in New Jersey. So today we are making a puff pastry, a chicken stuffed puff pastry. And I'm using what we have, and we had chicken, so we need to get rid of it. And I'm heating a pan up with like 2 tablespoons of butter, a tablespoon and a half. And I pulled puff pastry out of the oven, out of the freezer, and it's been defrosting. And we're just gonna use, if you don't have puff pastry, you could use like pie dough, you could use like phyllo dough, but we're gonna do some chicken tonight, which will be really delicious. And I'm just gonna pull these out and let you see kind of what they look like. There's 2 of them in a pack. And so what I will do is I'm gonna put my chicken inside my puff pastry, and then I'm gonna put a bunch of different stuff in it just based on what you might have in your pantry. So the butter is melting. I have chicken here, and I've patted it dry with a paper towel. And what's great about this is that you're gonna get a nice sear. You can put the chicken just right in the puff pastry and bake it, but it doesn't taste as good. You want a little bit of a crust on the chicken. I find that it tastes better. So I'm just gonna season both sides. And Peter, you can always ask questions too.
No, I gotta think of a good question.
I'm basically teaching my brother-in-law how to cook while we're doing this. Okay, so there's butter in the pan, and I'm just gonna pick up my chicken and put the chicken in like this. Probably should be a little hotter, but that's okay. And then while this cooks, I'm gonna show what I'm gonna put in the bottom of my puff pastry. So I'm gonna do carrots. I used carrots the other night in my meatballs, and I have some, let me turn this down. This is about medium heat, and my oven's at 375. I have carrots. I'm just gonna thinly slice these, and they're gonna cook underneath my chicken. So I'm not really being super small with them, but like this big. And you have to forgive me, I'm wearing like the same outfit every day because I escaped New York City and I thought I was gonna be able to go home sooner, and then things are just taking longer. So I am kind of still hanging out in my workout clothes, in my sweaters, and you know, that's how we're going today. So okay, so I've got all these little matchsticks, and you can use whatever vegetables you have on hand. You could thinly slice potatoes. You could do, what's another vegetable you could do? You could do
Broccoli?
You could do broccoli, but broccoli sometimes gets a little stinky. I prefer broccoli like super roasted, like I made it the other night. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're looking for with the carrots. I like carrots with chicken because that's like a natural, whenever you do like roasted carrots or roasted chicken, you do like carrots with it and potatoes. So I try to mimic the same flavors. And then I've got thyme, and I'm gonna put some shallots in here too because I just have shallots. If you don't have shallots, you can just use onions. You could use whatever you have. And I'm gonna take off the bottom and the top, and then slice my shallots in half, and I'm just gonna give these like a rough chop. I'm not gonna mince them or dice them. I'm just gonna kind of give them a nice slice. But I know a lot of you guys made the meatballs the other night, which is really exciting. I'm gonna post the recipe for this afterwards, but I don't really know what the recipe was gonna be yet until I started making this. So if you want to take a look at our chicken right here, I'm gonna put salt on the other side and take the tops off of these. A lot of times people will ask me why I don't use pepper in my cooking, which is kind of interesting, but pepper adds a different flavor. Salt enhances. So whenever you're using salt or acid, it's enhancing the flavor of the ingredient, but it's not changing the composition or the overall flavor. When you add pepper to something, it changes the flavor. So I don't like to use pepper for everything because it doesn't necessarily make things taste better depending on the ingredient. And let's see what these look like. So you want them to be brown. Nope, another minute. That one's good. And that one's good. And I'm not worried about cooking them all the way through because they're going to finish cooking in the oven. Okay. We got our shallot. And I'm going to use 2 different sauces on this because why not? And what we're going to use is a jam or something sweet. So I have honey. Ooh, that was a slippery shallot. I have honey here, and I have like a fig jam because that's what I found in the pantry. But this is really important. I'm actually going to flip this one and then turn it off, and then the heat of the pan is just going to finish my chicken. So that's my vegetables for this. Okay, so I've got my 2 sweet things are a fig jam and a honey. And then I have a mustard and a balsamic vinegar. So these are both acids and these are both sweets. So what you want to do is kind of marry them so that you have a little bit of like acidity and you have a little bit of sweetness. So we're going to make 2 different ones, and then I'm just going to rotate them to, you know, choose which one I want to do. How are we doing on time?
Doing good. 6 minutes, 15 seconds.
Okay, so this is my mustard one. I'm going to do a honey mustard because that goes really well with chicken. I'm going to put like, what is that, like a 1/4 cup of mustard in the bottom of my ramekin. And then I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup of honey. This is homemade honey mustard in its finest. And I'll give this a little bit of a stir. And that's just gonna hang out right there. And then my second one is my fig jam. Fig jam is really delicious and kind of decadent, but still easy to get. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put maybe 2 of these, so a tablespoon or 2, right in the bottom of my ramekin. And then my acid for this one is going to be balsamic. So about equal parts for both of these. This is gonna splash around everywhere, so I have to go kind of gingerly. There we go, splashed everywhere, splashed everywhere. Just kind of mix it just like this. Okay, so those are the 2 bases of my chicken puff pastry. Pretty good, right? It's like 7 minutes, 8 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so now my puff pastry. Now, in an ideal world, I do this in the morning and then I let it sit and cool off completely so that it doesn't like melt the puff pastry, but I'm gonna stick this right in the oven and I'm not really worried about it because let's be honest, like no one's gonna make the chicken in the morning and then let it sit and get cold and put it in the puff pastry. No one's gonna do that. So I'm not gonna subscribe to that, teaching you guys that because everybody's kind of doing what they can right now. Now, I should get a, actually, let's see. Maybe not. Let's see how these fit. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna cut this in half. And what I'm gonna do is, I need a measuring. Okay, got one. Okay, I'm just gonna roll this out just a slight bit. Just to make it a little bit bigger. You can use a wine bottle to do this too. I've definitely done that. And we're gonna do the same one with this. I'll move this over here. I'll show you 2 and then I think you'll get the hint. And you can kind of, I'll do one of each and this is a great way to get your families involved too because they can kind of pick and choose what they'd like to do. Okay, I'll move this back up here. So I'll do 1 my balsamic and fig jam. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place, actually, you know what? Watch this. I'm gonna flip it around. This is gonna make it even easier. Okay, so I'm gonna put my chicken, chicken down on my puff pastry. I'll do these 2 first. And then I'm gonna put some vegetables. So say I wanna put some thyme, that looks really pretty. Say I wanna put some shallot, that. And then say I want to put some carrot. So this is kind of, I have done a papillote before in recipes, which is fish and parchment. This is kind of like the decadent version of chicken in puff pastry, but You get the idea. And then I'm gonna put a little cheese in it too because I think that'll taste really good. This is just a sharp white cheddar. I think sharp white cheddar goes well with these kind of rooty vegetables and kind of herbs. So I'll put a little bit of cheese at the bottom of this. And then, so this is gonna be kind of an interesting thing. I would say I'm gonna kind of build it backwards. I'm gonna put the sauce on the top because what I'm gonna do is fold it and then flip it so that the seam of the puff pastry sits on the, I don't even know where to put this right now, sits on the bottom of, hold on, hold on, I need a plate. Guys, it's really complicated. Sits on the bottom of the tray. So I layered the chicken on first, then I put all of the ingredients that I wanted, and then I'm gonna fold up the puff pastry just like this. And don't worry if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. And I'm just gonna kind of crinkle it like a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. And I'm gonna use my fingers and I'm just gonna pinch all of the seams of the puff pastry together and kind of like smush it down like that. And then pop it on my sheet tray just like that. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. So you're kind of building it from the top up because when you slice into it, you don't want the bottom to fall out. And so I'm doing the same thing. I'm just kind of pulling all this just like this. And again, when you cut into that, you're gonna get a little bit of the woodsy stem of the, here, I'll do this one without it, it's just so you can see it. And then I made a mess of this. If you don't want this big woodsy stem when you open it up, what you can do is just take the thyme off of it, just like this. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you're not gonna eat the woodsy stem, you're gonna cut it and eat it anyway, but if you wanted to make it easier, you can do that. And then you're just gonna take your puff pastry, and again, roll this one up. And I can feel the warm chicken kind of like warming up the puff pastry, but I'm not really worried about it because it's gonna go right in the oven. Okay, flipping this one over, kind of give it like a little smush, and then pop it on your sheet tray. And then here's the trick that you wanna do. You wanna take your knife and just give it like a little bit of a slit at the top, a little cross, just like how you would do like bread, so that the steam can escape. And then I usually finish it with a little bit of olive oil, like that. And that is it. And if you wanted to, what you could also do is throw the roasted veg that you have left over. Like I would probably throw all of this that's left over in the oven too with olive oil and salt, like just to serve with it, so that you can have extra when you open it up. And that's it. So I'm gonna put this in the oven. I'm gonna write these recipes now, and then I'm gonna post it when it's out of the oven. But you wanna put it in for probably about 20 to 25 minutes at 375, and it'll be nice and golden brown, and the chicken won't be cooked inside because it's almost cooked all the way anyway. So thanks for joining, everybody.